Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 6. And right off the bat, it starts off with the with where it left off, with the whole stare down between Todoroki and Izuku, and Endeavor and All Might. And the one thing to note right off the bat, I want to talk about the Endeavor and All Might scene because Endeavor basically says outright that he only created Todoroki as a means, as he only created Todoroki or birthed Todoroki as a way because he only sees as a way to beat All Might or surpass All Might and become the new number, so Todoroki can become the new #1 hero. And what's kind of fucked up about that is that of course, it probably isn't as common in today's world as it is probably in like what the 40s or something like that. But there is still a select mindset of people out there who basically say, yeah, who basically have the mindset of I've completely utterly failed in order to complete in order to achieve my dreams. So you know what? I'm just gonna force all my dreams and my ideas onto the next generation who are my children. And yeah, so yeah, it's weird how like an anime about heroes, about superheroes, addresses this whole thing about how sometimes there are parents and there are people out there who will force their whole ideas, their beliefs, and their dreams onto pretty much the next generation and all their kids. So yeah, that's kind of fucked up if you think about it. We all and when the scene switches back to Todoroki and Izuku, Todoroki basically mentions how he's the product of an arranged marriage. How his father pretty much forced his his mother's family into pretty much marrying him because he want his and because and Endeavor apparently wanted a guarantee that his next generation and his kin and his offspring could be strong enough in order to defeat All Might. Now, to surpass All Might and become the #1 hero. Now, as I think it was stated a couple episodes ago, I think that there were several of his children were basically failures. So that makes me think that this isn't the first. And Endeavor's basically basically that this makes me think that Endeavor pretty much thinks of all of his other children except all of his other children as failures, except for Todoroki himself, because he sees that Todoroki is his last. Is his one chance in order to finally fulfill his dream of surpassing All Might, which again, in its own way, is kind of fucked up when you think about it. But yeah, and onto that thing about the whole arranged marriage itself thing. It's actually what's interesting about this whole arranged marriage thing to begin with is that it showcases that in a way this whole according to the way it was explained, your whole arranged marriage thing has been was pretty much all set up during the second generation of the quirks being around. That the whole arranged marriage thing, it was set up almost as a way to ensure that the whole quirks themselves, the whole bloodline of the quirks and whatnot get passed on. And in a way that could be said that there is some kind of I feel this whole superhuman society is kind of, it shows a little bit of a paranoia in this society, in the fact that this society actually allows something like these arranged marriages to happen. Like I know that there are times where it is a common thing in Japan, but I know there's a common thing where arranged marriage is kind of a thing in Japan too, I think, but just within this society in general, it is kind of it is kind of fucked up how they're allowing that, just in order to make sure that the whole quirks themselves are getting are getting passed on. Quirks themselves are getting passed on. Like that shows you how this society has become so pigeonholed and dependent on the fact that they simply don't want to lose these quirks that they would allow for something like this to happen. It's actually kind of insane, really. Um, and Izuku's and final. I also want to talk about Izuku's declaration to Todoroki. Now, we already saw in a couple episodes back that he already made his declaration, so people would see this as a bit of just him repeating what he said already. But I still think it is great development for Izuku because he's little by little showcasing that yes, when he finally puts his when things gets down to it and he's serious, like yes, he is a scaredy cat. Izuku is of course a scaredy cat. He does freak out, but when things get serious and it gets down to the wire, he really he shows his true self and his true worth as a hero. And honestly, like I really like how I really like that because he even said that how even up to this point he hasn't really he's only dependent on others. But I think this also shows that he's willing to get where he is on his own now, and he's willing to get farther now on his own. And with the fact that this whole tournament thing has become a part of it's become the whole sports festival now. He is gonna have to work alone, but I don't. I get the feeling he's gonna be totally. He's gonna show how much of a he's just gonna show how much of a boss he truly is in this whole tournament thing now. This whole tournament. Also, right off the bat, I want to talk about the comedy in this episode. Okay, let's talk about the comedy. Mineta and Kaminari for the win. Those sneaky bet for Mineta and Kaminari. You guys are the motherfucking. You guys are the heroes of this episode. Like honestly, they are the most perverted guys on the planet. The most perverted duo on the planet, on this whole planet. But you know what? I like it. It's good for the whole comedy, really, because they apparently tricked all the girls into wearing the cheerleader outfits that appeared in this episode, and I was like, yo, that was funny as hell. Like, Mineta already is basically like I think even Yorozu said it. Mineta is a perverse little troll, but you know what? And just adding calm Inari to the mix, just intensified it. But yeah, those guys are Mineta's already a perverse little troll, and adding Kaminari to the mix just kind of made it even funnier. And I like how it's in a way. This is it was sort of natural fan service. It wasn't like full blown boobs on the screen kind of thing, but it was a nice little. It was a subtle little bit of fan service I like because it wasn't like I'm not really big on fan service, but I do like it when it is kind of a little more subtle like that. It was pretty good. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I was laughing for like 5 minutes in that one. Also, yeah, and aside from that, during the latter portions, we basically see that several contestants are almost suffering from some kind of memory loss, which provides with a bit of an understanding of Shinso's quirk. For those who don't know, he's the guy who has the spiky purple hair, and from what I learned in the last portion of this episode, from the latter portion of this episode, it seems his quirk is activated whenever his quirk is triggered. His quirk's power is triggered every time he talks to someone, and then the person I think it is the person ends up replying to him. So it's sort of a thing where it's sort of where in order to activate his quirk, he has to get engaged in a conversation, which So yeah, it's one of those things where in order to activate his quirk, he has to engage in a conversation, and the person has to reply back, which is actually kind of ironic in a way, considering how much of how much of a social outcast that Shinso himself comes across. But yeah, it's interesting. Also, but what is interesting in a way is that in I'm pretty sure that in any other type of scenario, he would be considered he would be considered a villain for something like that. So it is interesting to know that he is in the hero course. So I guess I guess you could say that even though he has the quirk of a villain, he is trying to he doesn't he's trying to make sure he doesn't fall down that path. I guess. And actually, even before the whole fight begins, we get a little dialogue between, we get a little back and forth between Izuku and All Might, and how we learn from All Might that apparently, as of right now, Izuku is only using 5% of One for All. And that makes me think, if he's only using 5%, how much stronger is he going to get if he ever gets to a point where he's going to be able to access the full 100%? Like, this story is pretty much all about Izuku becoming the world's greatest hero. So I imagine at some point during the story he is going to get strong enough in order to access 100% of One for All. And when that happens, oh boy, that's going to be insane. Like the way it's going, I think Otokoshi is probably going to be it's prob the way I've read the manga, so and we haven't really gotten a full on disclosure of how much she's using after this point. But I imagine how Horikoshi is planning it out is that he's starting with 5%, and then he's probably going to work his way up to 10, and then 50, and then 100. I think at that point. But yeah, I could be completely wrong. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my review for My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 6, and yeah, a pretty good episode. We the whole tournament the whole tournament in the this whole little mini tournament in the sports festival started, and it's getting off to a great start with Izuku versus Shinso, who apparently has the ability to wipe his memories of his opponents clean, and Izuku has fallen into that trap. Oh boy, it should be interesting to see where the next episode takes us. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, guys, like, comment, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight MMA, signing off. Later, guys.